And welcome back. We're seeing a very interesting trend in our housing market because it appears our housing market slowdown that we have been seeing for the past several months now is basically slowing down, for the lack of a better word. And this is based on my own analysis regarding Realtor.com's most recent data, which is for the week ending August 27th of this year. And this report here, or this data, was just released today at the time of this video, which is September 1st. So normally I go over Realtor.com's analysis regarding the latest trends we're seeing right now, but instead of reading this the summary here, which I actually didn't even read, I want to go over their data and share my own personal analysis regarding what we're seeing right now. So here's the website I go to in order to get the latest trends or the latest data from Realtor.com. So if you click on this link right here, it takes you to an Excel file showing weekly data regarding housing inventory, home prices, new listings, and also price reductions as well. So that file is right here, which I have kind of changed a little bit. Not the data, I didn't change the data, but I looked at current trends we're seeing right now. So let's first talk about asking prices. This is the median asking price. Let me just hide all this because I don't want to overwhelm you guys. So let's first talk about asking prices. Again, these are the asking prices in which home sellers, when they sell their houses, what are they asking for the houses? So right now, for the week ending August 27th, the median list price is up 13.2% from the same week 1 year ago. As you can see right here, the year-over-year gains in the median list price has been more or less hovering around 13 to 16% for quite some time. On top of that, the gains we're seeing right now at 13.2% is higher than the gains we saw back in January, where we saw 10% gains on a year-over-year basis. So the gains we're seeing in asking prices is still above historical levels. In the range of 3 to 6% would be more normal over the long run. So we're seeing gains in home prices on a year-over-year basis, but not necessarily on a month-to-month basis. So that's asking prices. Let's have a look at these other metrics here. Let's first talk about active listing inventory or housing supply across the United States here. So for the week ending August 27th, we've had a 25.9% increase of active listings compared to the same week 1 year ago. So we have a big gain of active listings compared to 1 year ago. And this is drastically different compared to the first half of this year. Because look at this, on January 1st, we had about 30% less houses for sale compared to the same week in 2021. But that trend changed drastically over the preceding few months. So take a look at this. As of May 7th, we had the same number of active listings compared to the same week in 2021. So what a turnaround from in basically 4 months. So on January 1st, we had about 30% less houses for sale compared to 1 year ago. But fast forward 4 months, we had the same number of houses listed for sale. And after this week, we saw year-over-year gains of housing supply compared to 1 year ago. So we had the same number of active listings this week, but it accelerated greatly until we had a 21% gain of active listings as of June 18th of this year. But more recently, though, over the past, the past 10 weeks, the number of active listings compared to 1 year ago has more or less fluctuated between 25% gain to a 30% gain. In other words, the gains we saw for housing supply were more or less stagnant over the past 10 weeks. But look what happened beginning on August 6th of this year, or for the week ending August 6th. We've been seeing this decrease of active listings on a year-over-year basis for 4 consecutive weeks now. And as I note here, we still have more active listings compared to the same time period 1 year ago, but that has been decelerating for the 4th consecutive week. And here's a chart showing this deceleration in the growth of housing supply. And this is on Redfin's website right here. As you can see right here, the growth rate of active listings has definitely slowed down, especially compared to the first half of this year. And also, as you guys may have noticed here, active listings, according to Redfin, have started to decrease for 2 consecutive weeks now. So for the 4 weeks ending August 21st of this year, we were up 4.33% in the number of active listings compared to the same week 1 year ago. But just 3 weeks ago, we were up about 6.16%. So in other words, we have more active listings compared to last year, but that growth rate has been decelerating. And what we're also seeing right now is it's taking longer for houses to sell. In fact, over the past 5 weeks, it's taking longer to sell compared to the same time period 1 year ago. So for the week ending August 27th, it's taking 5 days longer to sell a house from 1 year ago. And compare that to July 23rd, houses were selling for the same time period from a year ago. And in stark contrast, for the week ending June 4th, houses were selling 5 days faster. Here's another very important trend we're seeing right now that I have been reporting to you guys for several weeks now. So take a look at this. Here's new listings, and this is by count on a year-over-year basis, or the percent change in the number of new listings compared to the same time period 1 year ago, I should say. As you can see right here, for 8 consecutive weeks, we've had less new listings hitting the market compared to the same time period 1 year ago. Additionally, what we're also seeing right now, as a note right here, we're seeing weekly declines of new listings, and those have been accelerating for 5 out of the last 6 weeks, causing housing inventory gains to weaken. And here's what I mean by that. For the week ending July 23rd, we had 6% less new listings hitting the market compared to the same week 1 year ago. And that growth rate accelerated until we hit August 20th of this year. Now, keep in mind, this is drastically different compared to the end of April, all the way until more or less the beginning of July, because during that time frame, we saw more new listings hitting the market compared to 1 year ago. But all that changed the following week because we saw decreases of new listings hitting the market. And therefore, because the number of new listings have been going down for 8 consecutive weeks, this is one reason, or one main reason, why the number of active listings has basically stagnated around 25% to a 30% gain on a year-over-year basis. One thing I want to mention regarding this decrease of new listings is that it's entirely normal for the number of new listings to decrease in the second half of this year. That's what's called our seasonality of our housing market. But as you guys can see right here, these numbers are based on last year's numbers, and we're still below last year's levels regarding new listings, which is causing this stagnation of active listing count in the United States right now. Here's another trend we're seeing right now that I definitely want to bring to your attention that's not even mentioned in Realtor.com's report right here. They don't mention this trend I'm going to be sharing with you guys today. This is the number of active listings that have had price reductions, and this is the percent change on a year-over-year basis. So the number of active listings right now with price drops and the percent change compared to 1 year ago. As I reported to you guys last week, we saw 10 consecutive weeks where this percentage was actually on a downward trend. But fast forward this week, this is the first week in the last 10 weeks where we saw an increase in this number here. And here's a summary for you guys. The year-over-year change in the number of reduced price listings has been decreasing for 9 out of the last 10 weeks. And last week was the first increase in the last 10 weeks. But having said that, even though we've been seeing this deceleration here, we still have a lot more compared to 1 year ago. In my personal opinion, the reason why we're seeing this deceleration in the number of price reductions across the United States is because active listing inventory has basically stagnated for 10 consecutive weeks, though, because we're seeing this decrease of active listings for 8 consecutive weeks. So because we're not seeing this growth rate of active listings, we're not seeing as many price reductions across the United States right here, or at least on a year-over-year basis. Also, another potential reason here is that maybe potentially home sellers who are listing their houses for sale are more aware of the fact that with this housing market is actually slowing down and has been slowing down for several months now. And by the way, according to altosresearch.com, for the share of reduced price listings for the week ending August 26, which is the most recent data they have, that share is at 39%. So approximately 39% of all active listings have had price reductions already. And this is approximately 2 times the share that we saw at the beginning of May when the share was only 20%. So in other words, this share has more or less doubled in the last 3.5 months. So if you guys are still with me, thank you so much for watching today's video, but I also have a summary for you guys as well because that was a lot of information to share in today's video here. So number one, housing inventory is still growing on a year-over-year basis, likely due to a pullback in home buying demand, but inventory growth has been slowing, likely due to fewer new listings hitting the market for 8 consecutive weeks. And also, if inventory continues to stagnate, this could slow down our housing market slowdown, putting upward pressure on home prices. And number 3, price drops are significantly higher compared to 1 year ago, but the growth rate is actually slowing down. And number 4, houses are taking longer to sell for 5 consecutive weeks. In other words, the housing market is still slower compared to 1 year ago. But what's your biggest takeaways from today's video? Also, if you guys got any value out of this video whatsoever, then please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. I hope you guys have an awesome day and look forward to seeing you on the next video.